What is up, and welcome into the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann. I'm joined, as always, by my outstanding co-host. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon legend. He's a Grambling State legend. He's a House of David legend. He was all swag back in the day. He played second base for the Tigers. It's Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we've got the NFL draft analyst. This is his time of year. He's getting all your mock drafts together. He's going to be able to guess all 32 teams' first and second round picks. That's what he does.
Flawlessly.
He's our GM. He's Glenn Morgan. Gentlemen, what's going on?
Hey, I got a question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because I mean, GM, you kind of quiet. Are we with the runner-up yet again?
No, I'm so glad you brought that up. I was gonna say you need to put a little respect on my name.
You the champ this time.
Yeah, put a little respect on my name, dog.
Yes. I told you we couldn't have no two-time loser on.
Champion.
So you're a Madden Super Bowl champ, huh?
Champion, and took down the big bad wolf. Yes, I did. Led them into 8 interceptions in the game.
Damn.
8 picks in the game.
He was falling asleep.
Nah, I was putting the DDT on him. That's what happened.
He was falling asleep. I know better than that.
Nah, trust me. If you know Cross, he never wants to lose.
He had a rough day in the big office.
Nah, he had I don't know how to throw to anybody else but DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm like, that's just not gonna happen. So yes, your boy is a champion. So 16-1 on the regular season. Obviously, throughout the playoffs, onto victory, and you can just put champion next time you mad champion. We put a little salutations in there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, congratulations, man. That's outstanding.
Thank you.
That's outstanding. So we got some stuff to talk about. Looks like the Bulls have clinched at least the play-in tournament. So I guess that's good. Yeah, that's good. The Final Four is set. And we've got some rules changes in the NFL, but let's start with what everybody's talking about. I know people are probably starting to get tired of it, but hey, you don't get a slap at the Oscars every day. That was wild, man. That was wild.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching the Oscars. I
nope.
Tell you that. I wasn't watching.
Listen, look, I was watching it. To this moment, I don't know how or why it was on the TV because I wasn't paying attention to it. It was on the TV, and then Chris Rock came on, and his voice is so
distinct.
It's so catchy. It draw you in. So I happened to turn and start watching. And when it happened, I was like, "Nah, hell no! I know that didn't just happen on TV. That had to be fake." Like, it's no way that just happened. And then they cut the sound. I'm like, okay. And then they cut it back on and you hear, keep my wife's name out your... I'm like, whoa, is this real? Like, did this really just happen? Like, it was unreal. It was unbelievable, man. Crazy.
So wait, so that part made the broadcast. I didn't know that.
The tail end of it. So if you go online, they got all the different stuff all over the media, like the Japanese feed.
I saw it. Yeah, that's the
cut
one.
Anything out? Yeah, it caught the live feed in America. Caught the second time Will Smith said, "Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth." Okay.
Yeah, I caught. So my I didn't know about it until I'm on a text chain with my block club. And usually, the text chain for the block club is about business, what's going on the block, there's a pothole on the block, who's calling to get it fixed, or the street lights are out, This time it was about the Oscars, and I'm like, what the hell? And then my sister sent me the Japanese version of it, which was this was within minutes of it actually happening. It's not like I saw it like the next day or something like that. And I was like, wow. Because at first, when I first saw the slap, I thought, that's fake. Because it looked like a fake, a movie slap.
Right.
But then when he said, keep your wife's name out your fucking mouth, oh, whoa, that's serious. That's
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those things where you're gonna remember where you were when you saw it, And I was downstairs, and I don't know while I was watching. My wife came down. I'm thinking like, she had the laptop with her. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm thinking like business. She's gonna show me something with the girl, something fiscal. I'm to get my mind ready. Like, okay, what's the bad news? So I'm looking, and then she shows me. I'm like, oh, this is like the Oscars. And she showed me a feed. I'm thinking, okay, Chris Rock. I guess it's gonna be something funny. And she's rewinding it back a little bit. And then he's making this one joke to the one guy. And I couldn't quite get it at first, but he's like, yeah, he's gonna win. He can't win if his wife
If his wife loses.
if his wife loses, he can't win. So he really needs Will Smith, to win. Ha ha, everybody's laughing. And he bring in Will Smith. And then, I saw Jada with the short hair. I thought she was looking as fine as always. And then he makes a G.I. Jane comment. I'm like, oh, like, man, okay. Like, yeah. First I was like, wait, is she it? I'm thinking like maybe her hair is cut short because maybe she is doing G.I. Jane, too, or whatever. And then he's like, love it, and he made his little, I'm like, oh, he kind of made a joke, but they cut to Will, right? And you see Will kind of laughing.
But you see her.
Right, you see her roll her eyes, and I'm like, oh, and then all of a sudden, Chris got that look. He's like, oh, here comes King Richard, and then, like you say, the slap. I'm like, that's fake. I'm like, man, this is some stage. Like, man, they're really trying to do something here to bring some ratings to the show. And then he walks back. He's like, I just got slapped shit by Will Smith. I'm like, did he just say shit out loud? And then Will just went off, and my mouth was dropped. My wife was looking at me, and my mouth was just dropped open. Like, what? Just like, are you kidding me? So how do y'all feel about that, man? Was it? Did he have to? Everybody hates Chris. Those when the memes going around. But did he deserve that?
No.
Is Will out of pocket? Was Will?
So, to me, a few things can be right, and a lot of things can be wrong. Will's principle, standing up for his wife, is right. His actions were wrong. That's how I view it. On the flip side, with Chris Rock, everyone's like, she has alopecia. That's not something that everyone knows. I learned that yesterday,
right
after the fact. And then, women like, you don't joke about a woman's hair. I get it. I understand. He was wrong. He was wrong, but it didn't garner that type of reaction. If anything, Will could have went up there. He could have still went up there. He could have took the mic and brought light to her situation. Her having, or he could have sat in his seat and said what he said after he slapped him. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. It would have been talked about, but it wouldn't have been like, dude, like, in my opinion, dude should have been disqualified from getting his award. And if they weren't going to disqualify him, he should have received it in the parking lot. Yeah. It's no way he should have been allowed to stay in there. Right. And that's when I really was like, that was fake. I'm like, because no one else can do that and not be
extraordinary. Well, no, the Academy came out today and said that they did ask him to leave and he refused.
And you still gave him an award.
Well, what no you know, the thing is, I don't know. Because you don't want to, make another scene at the award. Now the question is who did they ask to ask him that? Yeah. But you don't want to, say if he causes another ruckus, that's more of a black eye on the ceremony. So you probably just we'll take care of this later on,
So what you think about his apology, or not his apology, not apology? Because he kind of justified why he acted out, why he was quote unquote apologizing.
That was another thing that made me think the shit was fake. Because I'm like, wait, was that a part of the character? Because Chris Rock did say, "Oh, here comes Richard." Like he ain't say, "Here comes Will."
That's true. That's true.
Here comes Richard. And it's like in his acceptance speech, everything he was saying was like tied into his role as King Richard. And I'm like, man, that didn't. I'm like a few of things seemed fake because the slap seemed like he ain't even really. He
but
like slapped him like this.
What's the benefit? What would be the benefit of it though?
Of the fake. That's why I don't think it was fake, because I'm like,
there's no upside.
There's no upside.
There was no upside. That's why I'm like, it couldn't be fake. I'm like, what? Like, why would Will Packer want that to be represented in him producing the Oscars? Like, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So I'm like, it was real. I
Here's my thing. Was it right what Will did? No, probably not. But I understand.
Did you understand it?
I understand.
I'm not saying you're not a choke.
Have you guys have been married for a while? Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen hurt in your wife's eyes?
Yep.
Yeah. Probably because I did something wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably yeah. In our cases, that's probably what it is. I don't think it's not that many people throwing out insults at our wives every day with us right there. But right there, but yeah, you see that hurt and you want to do whatever you can to stop it. And so maybe for a quick second he snapped. Now that was obviously other ways he could have dealt with that. Mm-hmm.
But he went back and sat down.
That's what I'm saying. That was he snapped, and then they.
And then he went to a
played
party.
It cool.
Then he went to a party afterwards.
Oh man!
Like shit didn't happen. I guess you hear talk with Denzel brought him to the side, and maybe somebody, I think
Tyler Perry,
right.
And
Bradley Cooper, yeah,
right, brought him to the side. But I'm like, why y'all consoling him? He's the perpetrator.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man. He's the instigator here, or the aggressor, I should say, not the instigator, the aggressor.
I mean, Chris did go at his wife though. That's
Really.
It wasn't the worst joke. I mean, the one in 2016 was worse.
Yeah,
right, and maybe that's
part. I think in Will's case, that's part of it. Will has always been known as the popcorn cartoony rapper. Right. That's how he started. In the Fresh Prince, and he hasn't been the hardest character out there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just talking about roles
outside of Mike Lowry.
Yeah, and even then, it's comedy based,
but it's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think I think in his book he talks about that, and maybe that was part of it too. Maybe he just wanted to tell the world I ain't soft.
I don't think that was a part of it. I think it was the fact that him and his wife has been the butt of all jokes.
And that, I'm saying that, but I'm
saying.
Now, granted, I'm not gonna say to his fault, because he wasn't the one who put all that stuff out publicly. That was her doing.
That was her, right?
But I feel like it was a effect from that, and he snapped. I understand it. Don't mean he's right. Don't mean he's right at all. I understand it. I understand you're tired of people talking about your wife, tired of people talking about you, but you can't react like that.
Right.
Not in that setting.
That's right. Not in that setting. Right.
And
you could have done it at the after party.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, and when I say not in that setting, because I've been going, just putting this out there too. Like, don't think I'm saying it because it's the Oscars and it's white people. No, when I say it's that setting, millions to billions of people were watching that. Chris Rock is now going to live with that public shame of that moment for the rest of his life. Now, I get the phrase, you disrespect me publicly, expect disrespect publicly back. But to that extent was way,
but
too far.
The problem, and I get, what I'm saying, the alopecia thing, I get that. That's something, especially with black women. And Chris has he did the documentary Black
Good
Hair.
hair.
Right.
Yeah.
Good
hair. Yeah.
Right.
So he should probably know better. But the roasting that goes on at the Oscars has been going on for years and years. It's expected. That's what they do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
but you know what? He caught the wrong person at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because you're right with the roasting, you should expect it, but he went at probably the one, like if he talked about her dress or something, maybe, or if he said something, but he talked about the one thing that was probably so stressful and everything else that you can think of negating in terms of her own self-esteem or what she's going through. Just to be quote unquote brave enough to come out to the Oscars in public like that probably took a lot. It showed a lot of character and strength for her. Everything tied to a celebrity and their image and and what they look like and a female and the hair, all those things. And he hit the one thing that might have crushed all those things that she overcame just to go there in that way. And that's what Will saw at that moment. On top of, like you said, what he said 2016, on top of probably the thing with the entanglement, on top of, like you said, even Will's own image as to, you ain't a hard enough dude, you a punk, so he went to his, I ain't gonna let that punk motherfucker punk me, and so, he had, as they say, he had a nigga moment, and when keeping it real went wrong, so we come up with, everybody hates Chris. I mean, it's like almost every black show can be tied in to the moment right then and there, and it's unfortunate that happened, but and I think, to see another brother do another brother like that in the midst of everything we're going through, it's just, sometimes it just feels like, we gotta find a better way. But none of that happens if Chris doesn't say what he says.
Yeah.
So sometimes, your shit ain't funny all the time, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the funniest joke. That was.
But Will was laughing. But Will was snickering.
He did laugh a little bit. Now, like, I don't know if it was a laugh, to cover the feelings he had. Probably he was trying to keep it PG, and then he looked at his wife. And like, well, shit, mentally, I didn't care for the shit either. Like, and then I look at her and she looking like that, my feelings should be justified too. Like, okay, let me go handle this. So
he initially tried to do the right thing.
Yeah, he initially did. And I mean,
keep it real though.
And comedians.
On the flip side though, Chris took it the right way, man.
He did.
Didn't flinch.
He didn't react.
Took it, yeah.
He didn't retaliate.
Got back on it. Now he almost did.
He had one stumble.
Yeah.
No.
The fist balled up.
He almost came back at him.
When he balled the fist, but he kept his composure.
Thought about it, yeah. And then he
finished the job.
I could wait. And after Will said what he said I could. Real quick. It's subtle, but he was gonna say something, and he held back. So so good for him, man.
Comedians.
He was the bigger man in that situation.
Comedians just gotta understand nowadays. Listen, if I ain't pay for the jokes, don't make me the butt of.
So
and it's just jokes. Ain't an excuse no more.
if it's Dave Chappelle, does he walk up on Chappelle like that, or is it because Chris Rock's a little smaller dude? You think that had anything to do with it, or like the history?
I don't know because it's hard to say. You know, that's been the popular thing. Everybody like he wouldn't do this to that person, but like these people do that all the time. Like, how often do they do that stuff in the person's presence? They like, man, people been saying this and that about Will Smith. Yeah, but was he there?
Right.
Like, so we don't know how he would have reacted.
Right.
Like, this happened in his presence, in his face. Like, it's hard to tell. Now, with the public light on it, and he's in somewhere, and one of these comedians decide to do it. If he get up, you're gonna be on your defense at that point. Your security might come tackle him. So it will never happen again.
Yeah, right.
Like, so, like, the hypotheticals are
right. Our hypotheticals.
Yeah.
You know who we should probably ask? I'm speaking of hypotheticals. Who probably had the best insight on this and just having that moment where you just lose your shit. Hopefully, one of our future guests, and Kendall Gill. We gotta ask him. You just had that moment, and you just gotta lash out. Like, what
I'm not asking him that. He ain't coming after me.
like for real though. But like, what goes through your mind? Like, how does it slow down, or does everything speed up? I'm just curious. Like, I'm not throwing any shade, but like, because it's a real thing. You know, that can happen to any one of us. You know,
has it happened to any of you guys? Where
I'm thinking like with my kids and my wife.
I
mean, not necessarily. I'm not talking the same situation. I'm talking like in a different situation where you blew up at somebody when you probably shouldn't.
But I've never blew up at anyone. I did have a situation where I just prayed it didn't go left because it wouldn't have ended well for me. Okay. We were in Vegas and we were in the club and I went to the bathroom. I come back out. It's a real big motherfucker talking to my wife. And so I just walked up and, I tapped him like, this my lady. And he was like, oh, okay, my bad. He turned out to be a Cuban. And he actually had on a Cubs World Series ring.
Oh, no.
Yes. He was like, I play for the Cubs and and we downstairs. And in my mind, I'm like, just thank God that this didn't go left because this was a big motherfucker. I was probably going to get my ass whooped, but hey, I was going to have to go at it. I was going to have to go.
Every night I got to fight to prove my love.
But so that was probably the closest thing. It was handled.
6'7" Cuban?
It wasn't a road. Trust me, I would know who that
is. I'll just ask.
We know
he
the real
was a Yankee first. I would have known who that was. Then he kept trying to invite me down there with the ladies. I'm like, dude, I just told you I'm with my wife. Oh man, I got the ladies down. Dude, you trying to distract me so you get my woman, man. Chill out, man. Go about your business.
Indecent proposal was about that.
Right, yeah.
In Vegas.
But yeah, that's probably the closest.
Yeah, I had one where it wasn't a blow up, but and it was it was almost 20 years ago, my mom's birthday party, and my best friend in the world cracked a joke on me, and I had a couple of whiskeys, and I punched him or gave him a real tap, but in the chest.
Oh.
This is my best friend in the world, man. And he was like, why did you do that? Now, he could have taken it, saying it could have been a rumble that night, but luckily, he took it.
He's probably more in shock than anything else.
Yeah. And, that was it. And after, I apologize. I was definitely in the wrong because it wasn't that bad. But if for whatever reason at that moment, I had it with him. So yeah, it happens, man. It happens.
Yeah. Nah, I don't think I've had a few moments like road rage. When I got out the car one time and went off on a dude because I had my kids in the back seat or something, and then I had one last year where I was trying to get to work, and it's a school across the street from my house, and they were blocking it off for some kind of graduation thing or whatever. But I was like blocking, like I couldn't get out of I'm off my own block because they got all these horses. But I'm like, dude, can you just move the horse? He's like, you got to go the other way. I'm like, dude, we need to go the other way. I live here. I just need to go. No, you got to go back where you came from. I come from the block, and it got to thinking. I walked up on him. He's like, I don't care what you do. You walk with me. And it's just like, move the guy. It got real heated. And then I was like, all right, I was like, F you. And I got my car and I was about to drive through the horse, like video movie style. So I drove down, and before I hit the horse, I just hit the brakes real hard, got out, threw the horse out the fucking way, got my car, a couple of FUs. So that's probably
it wasn't a real horse.
No, not a real horse. Those wooden ones, just the block the shit off. Yeah.
Well, so you gotta move the horse out.
Taking horses out.
Say, whoa.
Not a wooden horse.
That's some rage for real.
a barricade.
Yeah.
So I threw the barricade out the way, and I got that heated. So I almost had a fight with a complete stranger because I couldn't get off my block because that ignorant ass wouldn't move the damn thing. Tell me to go out where I came from. So, but yeah, that's probably about the question.
Yeah.
So hopefully this, it winds down and there's some type of resolution, for the both of them. I doubt that. I think Chris Rock's supposed to have a show tonight.
Oh, really?
In Boston.
Yeah, it is tonight. Yep.
Tonight in Boston. So you look out for that. Let's see if he says anything about it.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. But yeah, let's end it there. Let's move on to the Bulls, who have clinched a spot in at least the play-in tournament. They are 5th right now, I believe, in the East.
Yeah.
1.5 games ahead of Cleveland in the play-in. Yeah, it's a Cleveland.
Cleveland lost tonight though too, so
there may be more than that now. But yeah. First question for you guys. Obviously, we know they've been playing some poor basketball the last few weeks. What did they get? I think they only had 3 wins in the month of 4 wins in the month of March. Yeah. But getting to that playoff time, of the teams that are ahead of the Bulls right now, who would you want to play in that first round? Does it matter?
Boston, only because I think we still have a bit better side. I mean, is it Thieves or Thighs or
Tice?
Tice. Thank you, Daniel Tice. That he can be a little problematic, but I mean, it's not like he's going to play the entire game. He's not a starter. And Tristan can probably negate that to some degree, but we have a little bit more size and skilled size. Because even when dude comes back, the guy was hurt. Was it Robert
Williams?
Robert Williams for
he out 4 to 6 though.
Right. So this is probably the best time to kind of catch them. So I think our size helps us a little bit there, but man, Jaylen Brown's playing some awesome basketball. Tatum's playing some awesome basketball, and that kind of neutralizes because it's the same type of deal, same wing guys.
Yeah,
but they're younger. Yeah. Yeah. So I think is it what's the guy they picked up? Is it White?
Yeah, from San Antonio.
That can be a bit of an issue because that's especially not having ball back. We have ball back, I feel better, but. But you ask who of those ahead of us? I think the only one we'd have a chance of making it more than just 4 games in and out would be against Boston. I think Miami, the other teams are just they're physically, they impose their physicality on us too much, and we don't have an answer. We have zero. Literally, we've had zero answer for it all year.
Yep.
And I don't see any solutions to it happening this year. So Boston might be the quote unquote most favorable team to maybe get to the second round to get our ass handed to us by somebody else.
Yeah, I agree. On the Boston side, I know they've ran off been the best team in basketball since the All-Star break, but I still look at them. They still play the exact same style of basketball as the Bulls. Mm-hmm. Two guys and everybody else, and and I think that matches up with the Bulls well. And they're especially without Robert Williams, that's going to hurt them physicality wise. It's going to hurt them. Yep, that's going to hurt them. I think we match up pretty well with them. Them guys go cold. They rely on a lot of jump shooting, just like DeRozan and Levine. Mm-hmm. So it could be a really exciting series. Also, man, I said this last time we recorded. I'm telling you, I know what Philly has done to us in the regular season under the Embiid era. I just don't trust. I don't trust Harden come playoffs.
But you're talking Harden, like first round Harden different than second and third round Harden.
Well, have you watched them lately?
Rules, though. By the way, that's that would be the matchup if the playoffs were to start today.
Have you watched
those Sixers? But they were kicking our ass without Harden.
Right. They were. They really were. But it's different.
I'll say this.
I think they still beat us, but
here's where we have a chance. I'll go with you, B. And here's where I think we have a chance. I think our bench has better depth than their bench. Mm-hmm. And if there's any advantage, quote unquote advantage we have, would be if our bench played exceptionally well. But our bench needs to be our bench, not our bench being our starters. And that's kind of where we've been caught up, where we're on this losing streak, is that we've had guys who are bench guys playing extended starting minutes. Mm-hmm. And it's just at some point, it just is a reason why guys start and a reason why guys off the bench. And some of it, again, the sumo, you're talking about putting a lot on a rookie. He's just, you can tell the wear and tear of the season is just, worn up on him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gotten to him. So, but, hopefully our guys are getting a little bit better, in terms of those who were injured. Maybe they might, be getting closer to where they kind of were. But I mean, it's the coaching will have to be on point, and the bench will have to step up big time. And the problem, however, is, and this is going to be the problem going forward for the remainder of the season, is that our inability to control the rebounds. Other teams are getting so many offensive rebounds on us, and that's murderous in the playoffs. You cannot afford to give a team second and third
chances. Yep.
That's just second and third chances.
Yeah.
And not just that moment, but like multiple times throughout the game. You just can't afford to do that. And so that's where the Embiid and the Philly Sixers issue, because we lose those bounds. We lose those rebounds. Same thing with Milwaukee. And again, that's why I think with Boston, I think we could break even on the rebounds. I don't think they'll get as many second chances. And so that, again, our length helps us a little bit in the Boston series.
But see, like when it comes to Philly, that's where Billy got a coach.
Right.
Because Embiid wants to do so much offensively outside of the paint. We should be able to rebound versus them.
You would think.
Now, most of the games I saw, Embiid dominate, of course, and then the others hit shots.
Right.
In my opinion, I go all out to stop Embiid and force them to hit shots and win 4 out of 7 games.
And
can you hit
4 out of 5?
Hey, that's fine. If Embiid is averaging 20 and they beat our ass, hey, it is what it is. Because guess what we do know? if we let him go crazy, we're losing in 4. So how about try a new method?
Yeah.
Double him every time he touch it. Blitz him every time especially when he try to touch it out on the perimeter. Blitz him.
Right.
Make him give it up. Force his big ass to start trying to get in the post and receive the ball, and see what happens.
Right.
Because if you really watch playoffs over the past seasons, that's what teams have done to him. Mm-hmm. They forced him to try to become a post player, and we know what has happened. So
I was going to ask you, what do you think? Is he a better passer in the post than out on the perimeter, or vice versa?
I just think he's less aggressive in the post.
Really? Okay.
To me, he is. Because in the post, either he's going to give it up or he's going to take time trying to score. And on the perimeter, when he puts the ball on the ground, that shit is a nightmare. Because Vooch is on skates. If he don't hit the shot, he gonna get fouled. There's a lot of stuff that happens when he on the perimeter.
That's where you blitz him on the perimeter, and that helps Vooch because he doesn't have the lateral foot speed to keep up. I can see that. And you got to blitz him from different. It can't be the same. Come from the same spot. It's got to be very just keep whoever. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So hopefully, but
maybe we'll see.
Yeah, the coaching has to step up. The bench has to definitely, do its deal, and turnovers. We got to protect the ball, and that's where not having our own ball hurts. That point guard who can do better at not just distribution, but also keeping the ball from being turned over, just controlling a rock.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Hey, the Knicks game. DeRozan 37, Levine 27. Yeah. That's a big night for your big two.
Rebounding, man. Obi Toppin, and I'll go right quick into this. Obi Toppin, and even playing Washington the other night. Arvida or Denny Arvida.
Denny Arvida.
Yeah, that dude. I'm talking about those two guys that were on the Bulls' radar as opposed to Pat Will, and we took Pat Will. And those guys are starting to look like better choices at this moment because Pat Will he's not ready. He's not asserting himself. And no one doubts his athleticism. No one doubts his skill set. It's his mindset.
Yeah.
And his lack of assertion right now is hurting the team and hurting his own development. And you see Obi Toppin, like you talk about that Knicks game you brought up, as he was a big reason why they won down the stretch. He hit that big three, and then I think he got like a rebound put back in or something like that. And it was significant, and he's active and he's a live body. And Arvia was being aggressive, offensively and won that game, but they're being aggressive offensively. And we need that from Pat Will. And that is a huge, because it's affecting the starting unit, and to some degree it's affecting the bench because of his lack of assertion. Someone has to play out of position, and we could be using them on the bench where they'd be better suited in helping us when the bench is in the rotation that they need to be on the field. And right now, P. Will may lose. You look in the mirror moment, and you've got to be more assertive offensively. And just go for it.
But I put a lot of that on Billy, man. I really do. We don't run any offensive sets. Everything is get a ball to DeRozan and Levine, and they figure it out. Every time down, Pat is going to the corner, and he's sitting there. That's the offensive flow that we're running. A lot of times when he's in a good position, guys are going the opposite direction. Now, granted, that's on him because of his lack of assertion. They don't trust him. But as a coach, like they said yesterday, I saw that supposedly Billy told him, you got to be more aggressive to get more minutes. And I didn't see the game yesterday against the Wizards, but I saw an article saying he was a little more aggressive. I didn't see the game, so I don't know. But I feel that's like the coach has to demand that from him, because how you're a second year guy. First, you got injured 5th game of the season.
Right.
You have Zach LaVine, who's an all-star, DeMar DeRozan, who's an all-star, Nikola Vucevic, who's an all-star. You're on the floor with those 3 guys. How do you get yours?
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard didn't get his though. He didn't. Wow. He played his role. Kawhi became Kawhi when those guys were gone.
No, he was in the finals, bro.
The finals in 20.
Go look up his numbers and see what he averaged. He got the finals MVP because he was guarding LeBron.
He was asserting himself, bro. Well, here's what we're saying. We're not saying he needs to drop 20. We're saying he needs to show some type of, conscious effort to be consistent at attacking the rim when those opportunities present themselves. There are a lot of times he passes up shots, and that's not on the coach. Like, dude, if you're right there and the shot's there, it's in the flow of the offense. You got to take it, not shrink from it, not defer. And look, he's a great. I'm sure he's a great person. Great personality, and he probably has more of a deferential personality. He seems like he respects his peers. Okay, that's fantastic out, in the real world, and people can respect. But here on the court, you got to be more aggressive. It's just.
Kawhi averaged 17.8 in that series.
Yes, and if P. Will can average 7, that would be monumental compared to what he's been doing. If P. Will can average 7 or 8 points with like 6 rebounds, 0.9 steals and 0.9 blocks, I'll feel like that's the kind of, because you look at Obi Toppin, he's not necessarily, because it's not like the Knicks are really running some kind of offense either. They got a bullshit ass offense.
Very true.
Obi Toppin takes his moment. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna take the shot. It's right here. I'm gonna do it.
But what I see, especially watching the Knicks game, RJ Barrett and Julius Randle are able to get past our defenders and hit him when no one's around.
Yeah.
That's the difference. DeRozan is always hitting contested jump shots. LaVine, the same way. They do not blow past their defender. They do not always beat their matchup. So the defenders are always there. So when Pat get the ball, we want him to be a guy to create his shot. And that's not what we're seeing. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not absolving him from blame, because I'm to the point where we need to package him and somebody else to get somebody better. I'm at that point. Like, I'm not interested in seeing what it can become anymore. I'm not. But I do realize the type of team we have, how it is hindering his development, because we are so reliant on those guys. Like, we bring up Kawhi, but the Spurs was an older team. You didn't have a guy who averaged 30 in a month. You didn't have, like, they were a different type of team.
True, but here's my thing, and I'm listening to everything you're saying, and everything you're saying, I'll go, but DeSumo.
But he's bringing the ball down.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when everybody was healthy, and we saw that, hey, this rookie can do some stuff. Because there'll be times he's in the corner, he'll take the shot. There'll times he'll go to the basket and he'll go hard to the basket, either draw a foul, maybe he misses a shot, maybe he gets blocked, but then he comes back the next time, goes back to the cup again, and now he makes a basket, or he goes and he makes a slam. We're saying there are things that basketball IQ wise that DeSumo does that works in tandem, or it's reflective of what's going on around him. So he's not taking away from anything. He's taking advantage of his opportunities. He's asserting himself. And this is all we're saying when it comes to P. Will, is like, dude, assert yourself. Don't back away from it. That's the problem. It's like, dude,
get it.
It's like the moments are there. And this is why I'm saying it's not, I say that to say that it's not all on Billy, because it's like, look, I have a team to run. I can't just sit down and try to figure everything for you and hold your hand. At some point, you need to step the fuck up
and
be a pro and be the fourth pick in the draft and be 6'9" and 230 or 225 and play like he does it defensively at times. He's a little bit off.
I get it.
But he doesn't do it offensively. And it's not that he can't. When we see him play, it's like, dude, this dude can ball out. So it's somewhere up in here. And that's
I get it. That's why I say I'm to the point where he can go. Because, like you said, Billy has a full team to run.
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to sit here and because that we all said he was drafted as a project, as a potential to become something, that means we should have had a team built for his development. We don't have that. We have a team that is past that. So we can't sit and wait for his development. Our offense does. To me, our offense isn't fitting for his development.
You got another year.
Unless he's going.
After next year, then you'll know.
Yeah, I agree because this was a lost year. So I agree. Yeah. He was injured.
And maybe that's contributes.
Hey, maybe they make the playoffs and he comes in and he scores 63 at the Garden.
If he scored 36, I'd be happy at the Garden.
Right. Shit, if he scored 15,
anything is possible.
I wouldn't mind if he's dyslexic with his score and just scored 36.
I had to talk about Dosunmu with somebody too. And I just feel as a point guard, it's easier for you to get into the flow of the game.
I would agree now. You're right. And when I brought up Dosunmu, it was more so not because you're right. When you got the ball in your hand, it's a whole different element.
Now, I get what you said, though, as far as when he's off the ball.
Right.
But being able to have the ball in your hands gives you a little more of a rhythm.
True. Yeah, no doubt. But that's what I'm saying. Like before Ball went down, before he had to, Phil started him, like, the first month and a half of the season or whatever, before Christmas, before New Year's. It's like, oh, okay, dude's playing because he was getting like 4 points. He was averaging about 4 points, but there'd be moments where he scored 8, and you're like, man, those were key points.
Yeah,
that was a big 3 or that was a big open shot. Like he didn't shrink from the shot, and you're like, that's when you go, okay, we see something here. This dude, the moment isn't too big for him, and I feel with Pat offensively, every fucking moment is like it was like monumental. It's like, dude, it ain't that serious. It's like fucking like you're right by the basket, go up, almost, So I just need him to be, and it's okay to make a mistake. Like I don't know if he's afraid of making mistakes or whatever, or if that's on his head, but it's like, dude, it's okay. You look around you, all these guys. I mean, Vooch is missing tons of open shots. It's okay. You'll shoot again.
Yeah.
Just be aggressive. Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Motherfucker gonna leave us and turn into Bobby Portis.
Exactly.
That's what the fuck's gonna happen.
Right.
Then when he leave, everybody gonna be like, yeah, we shouldn't have drafted him. And he gonna turn to Bobby Portis. We shouldn't have traded him.
Right.
Right. I hated Bobby.
What did we let him go for? Nothing. What? Yeah,
it did. Annie took out what's his name?
Broke
my man's name.
Broke his eye socket, right?
Oh, Mirotic.
Nikola Mirotic. Yeah.
That was a Will Smith moment. Or did Will Smith have a Bobby Portis moment?
Hey, actually, they both have similar eyes. I don't know. Oh, maybe there's something there. Hey, NCAA tournament. Final Four is set. The Blue Bloods won out this year. It's Duke, Villanova, North Carolina, and Kansas.
Jesus. This is like 1989 all over
again. Yeah. Well, no, not 89, because fighting the line, I would have been there, man.
Right. I'm sorry. This 1995 all over again.
Yeah. Well, no, then Duke wouldn't have been there. I'm joking. I
know.
Who's the star? I've got a star this tournament who just made some news today. St. Peter's coach.
Oh, You get a coaching job.
Seton Hall.
Seton Hall.
Nice.
Seton Hall for him after an Elite Eight appearance. What's his name?
Shaheem Holloway.
Shaheen Holloway, yes. Was a McDonald's All-American he was on the 96 McDonald's All-America team and played at Seton Hall, and now he's the coach at Seton Hall after an Elite Eight appearance with St. Peter's. By the way, I didn't know St. Peter's was a school. Never heard of it.
Usually what happens about every other year.
It's in your cousin's conference.
Yeah, they're in the MAC.
Yeah, they beat Iona. They beat Iona.
Yeah.
Get there.
Never they beat Iowa. They beat Kentucky. They beat Purdue.
Purdue. That's awesome.
That's yeah. So good for them.
So he'll go to Seton Hall and we'll forget about him and he'll get lost in the shuffle and he'll be another coach that had a great run, went somewhere.
Another Shaka Smart.
Right. Exactly what I was thinking of. Exactly what I was thinking.
Another Shaka Smart.
Hey, Shaka, he took VCU to the Final Four, man. That's saying something.
And couldn't do a damn thing in
Texas.
Better resources.
Right, everything.
Couldn't do a thing.
It's a football school. It's a football school. That's what it was.
So who you got? Duke, Carolina. Who you got?
Carolina, man. I'm a Duke fan. I've always been a Duke fan, but I'm going Carolina.
I got Carolina as well.
Yeah, I'm going with Duke, fellas.
Wow.
They lost the final game at Cameron.
Right.
For Coach K. They're gonna take this one. I think Duke's going all the way.
You think they motivated?
Yeah.
I think Hubert Davis has got he gonna have a fuck Duke shirt on under his shirt, and them boys play like it.
So Duck Fook is the shirt he's wearing. Yeah. Duck Fook. I get what Ez is saying in terms of like payback's a bitch type, motivation. But I've just been watching North Carolina's playing. It's like they're on a mission. They're dismantling people. The way they dismantled Duke at Duke.
Yeah, I didn't realize they was that big.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're just immobile.
And I'm like, that's why they were able to handle Duke, because Duke is big.
Yeah.
And so they matched that size. So it
might. I don't know if it'll be the most watched game since Michigan State, Indiana State, but it's going to be up there, dude.
It's first time ever meeting in a tournament. That's crazy.
And it's a Final Four.
That's crazy.
The only thing that would make it crazier is if they actually met in the championship.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this might be, and it'll be hard with the kind of numbers because everything is so dispersed with streaming and all these other things. But this might rival the Michigan State, Indiana State in terms of the most viewed collegiate basketball game in the history of the sport. And I actually wouldn't mind if it is, just because, Coach K's could be his final game. I mean, there's a lot of elements.
Are you gonna let Duke? Are you gonna let Carolina ruin it again?
Right.
On an even bigger stage.
Right. And it's a payback game. So because they just met recently, so it's been like maybe 6 games in between, if that. So 6 games in between. So yeah. And I guess, in the shadows, it's a Kansas Villanova game, which is really any other time, really good matchup. How good both programs have been over the last several years. And Villanova's always been a good one, but I mean they've won a couple of championships, not too far removed. So, and Kansas is one of those. Seems like they always kind of the bridesmaid a lot of times when it comes to winning championships or the Final Four. But you're talking 3 of the top 5 winningest programs in collegiate basketball history in the same Final Four. That's amazing. So, there's no bad game.
With the most consistent team over the past 5 years.
Right. Be Villanova.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So there's no bad game here going forward. All the next 2 games should be, the next 3 games should be memorable. Hopefully it should be memorable. And for the casual fan, casual college basketball fan, and there are a lot of them, because it's just not the sport that it used to be in terms of, keeping people's interest throughout the season like they used to. This is probably, the biggest time for the NCAA to really, maximize whatever they can, with this Final Four coming up, because it doesn't get much better than these four organizations or these four programs. Excuse me.
Yeah. And the reason I'm going Carolina, you get Duke again in a high pressure moment versus Carolina. I don't think they can come through. I think the moment again is going to be too big for them. The last home game at Duke proved to me that the moment was too big. Now you got payback, Coach K, Final Four, rematch. It's a lot of pressure right there.
No, I think
to not lose to them again.
I think the game at Cameron had a little more pressure than even this Final Four game.
And not just pressure, I'll go with you as a lot more distractions because you're at home.
I can agree. Yeah.
All the alumni are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Seats, you hear the stories of seats going for $7,500.
Mm-hmm.
To see this game. I think it was more than that. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy numbers.
So yeah, I think that was the more pressure packed game.
Mm-hmm.
This one,
mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna be all right.
It's gonna
because Carolina's got pressure too here, man.
Do they?
Really? What's that?
Do they?
It's the Final Four.
I mean, but they wasn't supposed to be there.
But they are, and they're Carolina. I don't care
what supposed to be.
I don't
there.
care what seed I don't care what seed they are. They're Carolina.
I'm tell you this right now is I thought Carolina wasn't shit this year until they beat Duke in the last game.
But here's the deal, though.
Coach K.
Carolina.
I ain't heard nothing about them.
They won 20-something games this year. I think they
were treated like outcasts this year.
They
until they beat Duke in that last game at Cameron.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think that was an oversight.
But they ain't stopped playing. No, they've been crushing fools since.
Yeah, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I think they are a much better team than that 8 seed will tells you. So yeah, they got pressure too.
Yeah, what the 8 seed? You just said it. 8 seed. There's no pressure. You weren't.
There's pressure from their fan base. There's always Carolina fan base.
If they lose, it's gonna be like, okay, they lost to Duke. If Duke lose, you lost to them again.
Right.
And yes, that is true. Season,
that is true.
An 8 seed.
It's a different story.
Just think, if Duke beats them, North Carolina is probably seated lower, and they may have not, they may have lost sooner, or they may have been in a situation where they weren't here. It's kind of like when the Bears didn't take out the Packers when they should have, and ended up losing them in the conference championship game. Like Duke didn't take care of business when they could have. Carolina could have been a completely different bracket. Carolina might have been playing Kansas, what I'm saying, or playing Villanova or whatever.
Yeah.
But now you got to fix these fools again because you didn't handle business the first time around. And I don't think there's any pressure on Carolina, because I think the pressure for schools like Kansas, Carolina, and Duke is getting to the Final Four. You get to the Final Four, then you're at where you're supposed to be. If you don't win it, yeah, it sucks. But you know what? We expect to be back here next year. So, it's more like, inundation. We're going to inundate you with Final Four appearances. We're going to eventually break through and win one of them.
And it's Hubert Davis' first year.
Yeah. He don't even know what he's not supposed to know. They carefree, man. Their chance to nut up happened when they almost lost to, they let Baylor come back. That was their chance to nut up, and they were blowing a load left and right, but they were able to strap it on long enough to keep it together. and went out. And I think after that scare, I think they're at least finals 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 bound. Thank you. Yep.
I think they get them a rematch, possibly revenge.
I never liked Hubert Davis.
I didn't either. I just ever since the Bulls.
Yeah.
It's like really
the Phantom File. Never liked Hubert Davis.
Hubert freaking Davis. Plus, I was a Duke fan, so I still didn't like Hubert Davis because he was never a Carolina guy. Like freaking Hubert Davis. So, but this time I'm actually pulling for Hubert, which is weird because I'm a Duke fan, but I just something about maybe it was Bomani's. I don't know if you watched his first episode, his new show HBO. But Bomani's new show, how he kind of painted the light about Duke basketball and how they just been sticking it to the brothers for like every school that whether it's UNLV or Arkansas or whatever it is. I maybe look at it's not so much. It's kind of like the whole, aura surrounding and how America tends to gravitate towards certain schools that seem to reflect the demographic they would wish things to be.
Yeah.
So in this regard, I'm kind of like, Coach K won enough. Send him on his way. I'm pulling for the brother this time, I guess is what I'm saying, that deep down inside.
So, by the way, that was funny. I did see that.
Monty Jones was first.
Yeah. Did you see the
I
latest
need to watch?
No, I haven't seen the latest.
Check out the latest when he talks about HBCUs.
Oh, nice.
I gotta watch because it's on HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
HBCUs and what they should be focusing on. You might be a little surprised by it, but I understand where he was going with it. But check it out. We'll talk about it later on. Let's wrap this baby up. NFL. They've got a rules change. There will be a new overtime format for the playoffs, meaning that both teams will receive the ball if there is an overtime in a playoff game. The regular season rule will stay the same as before. You guys like that?
No.
Boo.
I hate it.
Boo.
I hate it.
Bullshit. I don't know. I just look, man. I get it. Everybody want to see Allen have an opportunity to go up against Mahomes in that one playoff game, or a few years back before when Mahomes didn't get a chance when Brady came down and they won. They beat Kansas City a few years back. But I think when the Bengals on the road can stop the almighty Kansas City Chiefs and then come back and win, it proves that, hey, you had your chance and your opportunity.
Yep.
And you still, if it gives defense, it makes defense, mean something to me.
Defense means something.
Yeah.
Means something. You changed it in the past from just first points winning.
Right. Which I
was good with that. Good with that. Now you
wait. You were good with a team being able to kick the field goal?
No. I was good with the change.
Okay.
I was good with the change.
Right.
Okay.
I was good with that change. You have to score a touchdown to win it. If you kick a field goal, the other team has a chance. Because back in that time, we saw too often where they just work to get in field goal range, kick the field goal to end the game. Like, no, score a touchdown. Now, defense, do your job. Get a stop. Because, so with the new rule, Kansas City score. Buffalo get it back, they score. So what's next?
Then it's sudden death at that point.
Okay, so why the hell?
You're right back at the same thing.
Back to the beginning. Right back to the beginning.
I get it. I get it.
How about we just play out the time? Fuck, like
that's what it should be.
Yeah, if make it 7 minutes or 6 minutes, whatever, 7 minutes long, and play out the time, and that keeps it really effing simple. Now you have different strategies. You want to run the clock or whatever, and then you still got to, defense still matters. I think what eventually I think that's what it's going to matriculate to, because that's the only thing that kind of makes sense. Because here's the other problem, like what you said, now you run the risk of, we were talking before about player injuries. Now you got an extra game, 17 games. Okay, now you got overtime. And some of these teams have played 2 and 3 overtime games in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And now, you run the risk of players, being out there longer, extended, and possible injuries. So no, I maybe just put on a time element to it, make it 7 minutes, and go from there or whatever. But I'm not
because
new thing.
Because what's about to happen now, with both teams getting the possession, guaranteed it's gonna be 2 field goals kicked.
Yeah, because they're gonna run out the clock.
And then it's gonna be tie game. Back to where we started. First points win. Coin flip. I think they really fell to the public pressure of entertainment. Like, no.
Well, that's what it is, though. It's all entertainment.
Yeah, you missed me with that one.
I personally like the old college rules of match play, not this current system they have.
No, the one they had before it, where you started like the 25.
35. Well, they started. Was it 25 or 35?
I think the 25.
The 25.
Mm-hmm.
I would say push it back to your own 40.
Push it back just outside of field goal range.
No, your own 40. So you still have to work to get to field goal range, but it's still match play.
That's field goal range for Justin Tucker.
That ain't no, it's not. So that's just my opinion. Match play from your own 40. That would be my.
Oh, no, you said your own 40. You know what I was thinking?
Oh, you thinking the opposing 40? Yeah. Yes, you're right. That is. That's most kickers' range. It should be most kickers' range.
Yeah.
But yeah, your own 40. Match play from there. I think that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Though the college overtime rule now is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's goofy.
With the 2-point conversion thing. I don't like that at all. But yeah, get ready for that overtime next season. Also, this just in, Bruce Arians is stepping down.
Stepping forward.
Stepping up.
Stepping up. Moving on up.
Stepping up in multiple ways, I will say.
So he's going to move into the front office role, and Todd Bowles will become the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mr. 26
he signed a 5-year deal earlier today. So good, man. Good for Todd Bowles. Get another shot as head coach,
which is rare because he has a losing record overall, 26 and 41. But to get the head coaching job of a good team, a lot of times, you get a head coaching job, it's another bad team.
Yeah,
and it's really difficult to get out from under. But you have a playoff caliber,
pretty
team.
solid, sir. Yep,
hands down, playoff caliber team. You're a NFC front runner. You're one of 3 teams in NFC favored to win the conference. So, do your thing, bro.
Yes, sir. You're right. That I think I can think of. Let's see, Tomlin.
That's it.
Tomlin stepped into a good role.
Yeah,
that's it.
Caldwell after.
After
Dungy left.
After
Dungy. Yeah.
Colts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that we're pulling 2 names out of 102 years,
right?
Yeah,
of the NFL,
that says a lot.
Yeah, like I say, I feel Bruce stepped up in multiple ways.
Yeah,
stepped up to the front office, and a part of me feel like this was the plan from jump. Because if you really think about it, Leftwich pulled himself out of the Jaguars hunt to stay with Tampa. And like now I don't think he's going to stay Bowles' assistant throughout this tenure, but like for Bruce to leave and there was no process after that. He quote unquote retires, moves up to the front office, and Bowles is elevated, not on an interim basis. 5-year contract. He's the head coach.
That's true.
That's big to me. Like, that showed me that, all the stuff with Bruce having the all black staff and all that stuff wasn't just for show.
Right.
Like,
that's who he is.
He's really about trying to change some things and going into to the front office. Like, and was this his call? Like, I don't know, but like, I love it. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
no, he's invited to all the picnics. You're right.
Yeah.
No, hands down, Bruce.
He a cool dude, man.
Yeah, he's at all the picnics. But you're right. It's consistency, because it's not just African American coaches, Black coaches. It's also
women.
And it's like it is not women.
Yep.
And it's about, hey, the best person could do the job, or even if you may not be necessarily the best person, qualified people are doing the job, because it's hard to say who's the best, but qualified people are doing the job. And that, when things aren't held and barriers aren't held before you, unnecessary barriers aren't held before you, you're able to see people, prosper and blossom and be who they are, and everyone else be able to benefit, and the organization benefits. And it'll go a long way towards maintaining their effectiveness as an organization in the NFL, because when you talk free agency, you are a destination point now, because guys believe it, because they've seen it. It didn't just happen. It didn't just, it wasn't like an accident or a confluence of events happened and it worked out this one time. We're seeing how you treat your players. We're seeing how you treat your coaching staff, and you're seeing how all these things are reflective and work in tandem with one another. And it's a space, it's a culture, is the word we want to use. The culture we want to be, and it's somewhere I would bring my family. And Florida has all other built-in benefits, taxation stuff,
no tax,
right. So I mean, kudos to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for, I won't even say thinking outside the box, just thinking.
Yeah. And one thing that, we talk about, like the good old boy club, how it's always a good old boy club. One thing that stuck out with me that I found out last year is that Bruce Arians was Todd Bowles' college coach.
That's right. At Temple.
Right.
Yeah.
At Temple.
So now I look at it, the good old boys club. Yep. Finally, it works for us. Look, he made way for his guy, who happened to be a Black man.
Remember, Todd Bowles was supposed to be Matt Nagy's defensive coordinator.
Yep.
And
Bruce took the job.
Took the job in Arizona.
I mean, not Arizona. I mean, Tampa.
Excuse me. Yeah. I said Arizona. In Tampa. And because he said that he gave his word to Arians, he said, I gotta go with my coach. So yeah. So like you said, the good old boys network working in our favor. I like it.
Damn, Matt, that might have helped your silly ass. Well, you got what's the name?
No, you got Fangio.
You got Fangio. Yeah, you got
Fangio.
Yeah. And it worked out for Fangio, not for Nagy.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I don't know if it worked out for either.
Yeah, he got my head coach.
He got a job out of it.
And both got fired together same year.
He got the job out of it though.
Damn, how you get a head coaching job after and get fired? He ain't make it to last year, his contract, huh?
Nope.
That's all right. He gets paid.
Yeah.
He gets paid. Hey, last thing before, and I know I just said that. Last thing, just don't even have to talk about it. Colin Kaepernick is going to be serving as Michigan's honorary captain at their blue whatever game. Not a story?
I mean, I saw that. As it, I don't. I don't understand the connection. I mean, he went to Nevada. I guess Harbaugh.
He played for Harbaugh.
Played for Harbaugh.
Yeah, he played for him. Yeah.
But I guess when I say I don't see the connection, I mean, how does that
I
help?
feel you.
How does that help Mich? I mean, how does that? Is it to inspire the player? I mean, it seems theatrical.
Yeah, I feel you, because I'd be damned if as you wanted me to be honorary captain at Hampton. I'm a G-man. I'm not no goddamn. So like I
don't want to go. You don't want to go to a blue-white game, man.
I go.
But see, that's the difference, though. but you're talking to HBCU thing. That's an HBCU rivalry. How about if, as a Tennessee guy, I say, hey man, can you come to Tennessee and be an honorary captain at the Tennessee orange and white game? The guys would really love to have you because everything you represent. You don't have the same animosity or the same animus towards Tennessee.
No,
I don't. Wait. I would be the honorary captain at Grambling game. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
That's because you punch your best friends. So you don't care. You take anybody out.
There's only two schools that I wouldn't do that. That's Howard and Norfolk State. That's it.
Now, Ez is right. I definitely wouldn't do that shit at Jackson or like Southern. But at the end of the day, I'll be the honorary captain in some Grambling gear. Like, you gonna know where I'm from. Simple as that. Like,
I love it. Hey, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. Thank you for your listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch our podcast at Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. I think we're in TuneIn now too.
Nice.
I think they picked us up.
As well they should.
Yeah. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you'll find a link to our podcast as well as the Super Duper podcast hosted by Rob Griggs and the Father Good podcast hosted by Marshall Givens and Kenny Stevenson. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, it's like we always say. We ain't saying we're right, but I'm the Madden champion, bitches, so I can't be wrong.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.